working on this new case. A missing scientist found on the edge of the villages. Frozen solid.
Jodie Foster starring in the fourth season of True Detective Night Country. This is the very popular HBO crime drama, as I said, into its fourth season. Not in the Deep South, set in the endless night in Alaska, or at least in the series. You're going to find out not so. Eli is here. We don't have a film to review today, not a big one opening today.
So many people talking about this, and there's some wonderful Canadian connections, and
great opportunity.
I've been drawn in, so I figured why, let me just share what I've been learning and our obsession, and
well,
yeah.
She was doing a lot of interviews for this, and we haven't seen her very much of late, so it's been interesting to hear her thoughts on it. She got Golden Globe nomination for this as well. So this is not Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson. This is Jodie Foster's series.
That's what's so exciting about this, and what's so smart is, like, when you think True Detective, you think like the steamy bayou and the grizzled detectives driving around in the marsh. No, this is like, what could be further from that? Innis, Alaska, right? This remote mining town, the land of the dark, this land where they call it night country, where this time of year, as we know in the north, the sun goes down and stays down. And then that inciting incident, we saw a little tease there. This group of scientists were found naked, freezing, and screaming like the world's most horrible human popsicle out there dead on the ice. And who's investigating the case? There they are. Foster as Police Chief Danvers and Callie Reese as Detective Evangeline Navarro, and they don't really get along. Take a look.
You think I want to work with you? Take a look in the mirror. No one can stand you.
We're just gonna do this one thing. Work together to close this case. And that's it for the two of us.
Yes, it is. You don't really think we're gonna find them, do you?
Maybe you're the one who believes in miracles.
To the True Detective formula, where you have the believer and the skeptic. Danvers, the Jodie Foster character, she doesn't believe in anything except maybe herself. And then you have Navarro. Now, she is Inupiaq, so she is connected to her culture. And certainly, as the show continues, we start to see that she is haunted. So she is, if anything, visions that she's trying to keep at bay. Now, the story of how we got to Foster, I love this. So the Mexican showrunner, from Mexico, to make a show about Alaska, Isa Lopez, amazing director. And so she does her homework. She gets the job. Okay, she's watching, like a lot of us did, the first season of True Detective. She's like, okay, well, what's the influence of that? Seven. I got to watch the classic serial killer film Seven. Now she's watching Seven. But what really informed Seven? Take a look.
Morning.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
Clarice, there we go. Jodie Foster, the classic role. So she sees that. Foster, that's my police chief.
Really?
Sends the script to Foster. Foster gets the script, goes, this is amazing. This is fantastic. Yes, but then think of Foster. Think of what she can do on screen. Think of that mask of pain we see on her face in this show. You need an actor who can hold their own, who has their own kind of internal gravity. They're going to be in those intense scenes in the cop car driving to crime scenes. Well, how about a 6-time championship boxer? That is Callie Reese. She is an amazing boxer who is now segued into acting. She's also Indigenous. Her original name is Many Feathers, Many Talents, which I think is just amazing and beautiful. And together, you have this amazing pair where you have Foster, and you get a sense of, like, there's that mask, there's that thing that she's carrying, and she puts on that tough act, but you know there's trauma under the surface. And then the same can be said for Navarro, who is stoic, but as the show continues, we learn that she's carrying her own burdens, the case that she can't solve, what's happening with her sister's mental health, and then the way they just populate the town with these other amazing characters, Fiona Shaw as this kind of wise hermit woman who lives on the edge. Oh, she has a face, like some of these, you just see the face and you're like, oh, already you want to know there's a story behind that face.
And what about the story of where it's shot? Because obviously the frigid and very desolate geography.
I mean, this is about murder, but it's also about mystery. It's also about something more than murder, something mysterious, something creeping at the edges. And so how perfect to set it in the land of the endless night, to set it in the cold and the dark of Alaska. Now, every Canadian kind of understands this climate. Now, they couldn't shoot in Alaska. Alaska doesn't have the filming infrastructure. So this was actually shot in Iceland, in and around Reykjavik. But, I mean, look at those gorgeous shots there. It's so enigmatic. And listening to the car just driving on the snow-covered roads, like, I don't know, I was watching the show, I heard the sound, you know that sound that rubber makes on a cold winter day?
Sure.
Like, they got that sound, like, they did their homework. But it's also not just the visuals, the sound design. It's eerie, it's spooky, it's unsettling. And one of the reasons is the wonderful music, including the music of Canadian Inuk throat singer Tanya Tariak. Now, her music is woven throughout the show, but they invited Tanya, who's an amazing musician, to perform on camera, to act in a small role. She'd never done this before. She loved it. Now she says, she was telling Tom Power on Q, she wants to be an actor. Like, she loved the process.
Really?
But she also loved the company, the amazing Indigenous community that they recruited from around the Arctic Circle to be part of this show. Take a look.
It was just so joyous and very fun to meet so many Inuit too, because there was Inupiaq and Inuit from Nunavut and Inuit from Greenland, and we were all together in Iceland filming. And we just, you get too many of us together and it's just cry laughing.
Cry laughing. There's a home birthing scene. You'll see her there and a couple others, so keep your eyes out. She was talking to Tom Power there on Q. And she is just part of this amazing Indigenous renaissance we're seeing on television right now. You look at Reservation Dogs, you look at True Detective, you look at Little Bird. There's another actor from Saskatchewan I want to point out because people are talking about him online. His name is Joel Montgrand. Now, Navarro is this amazing Inupiaq police officer, and she's tough, right? She's got like this stoic face. And every now and then, she needs to blow off a little steam, and she goes off and meets with the local bootlegger named Eddie Quavik, and that is played by Joel Montgrand. And this is what I love. He was in this amazing little film that I reviewed many years ago called Beans about the Oka crisis. From there, he was cast in the new Avatar series, which is coming up on Netflix. And from there, they heard about that casting and they said, hey, you should come and audition for True Detective. Now, he is from La Ronge. His background is Cree. So that helped him prepare to be part of the Indigenous community in Alaska. But there was something else that he had to do to get ready for the role as he was speaking to CBC Saskatchewan. Take a look.
Because Quavik is the love interest, and they had him described as well, let's just say he was moved away a bit from the dad bod situation that I had going on at the time. So I ended up losing about 25 pounds in 2 months. I was working out twice a day. It was pretty intense, but this was in part for the role. And as actors, you gotta be willing to put in the work.
I mean, most of the people in the show, they're covered in flannel. Like, he gets the one role where you have to do, like, the superhero transformation. But now there's people on the message boards talking about the hunk on True Detective, so I guess it's working out for him.
It's pretty funny. They talk about Patrick Mahomes and the dad bod. That's been a thing right now. This is the opposite of all of this. Okay, so overall, your thoughts?
I mean, I love the veracity. I love the little details. You see them at the grocery store and talking about, as we've heard, about the high price of just buying food. But there's issues with the water treatment plant and the mining and, of course, missing and murdered Indigenous women. So there's this background to the series that I think makes it more authentic. But the center of it is the spooky ghost story. I mean, we know we're getting to the trauma. We know these women are carrying something. I hope they can balance both things. There's only 2 episodes left, so there's a lot to do.
It's a lot to wrap up, it sounds like.
Maybe too much, we'll see, but so far I love it.
All right, thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Love it. On a Friday with Eli, you're watching CBC Morning Live.